Relations as functions. A relation is a pairing of input values with output values. It can be shown as a set of ordered pairs, x, y, which is what we're used to seeing, where x is an input and y is an output. The set of input values for a relation is often referred to as the domain. So any possible x is the domain. And the set of output values for a relation is called the range. So that would refer to any possible y value. Alright, so that's how we would match them up. So there are a couple different ways we can look at this. As long as we know that x's inputs and domain are the same and our y's, our output, and our range go together, then we should be able to match anything up using any of these terms. Alright, so just suppose we have the x values of 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to use these values to come up with a set of ordered pairs. So the set of ordered pairs is 1c, and it is 2a, and it is 3b. So that is our set of ordered pairs. So if we take that and we want to write down our domain is going to be the set 1, 2, 3, because those are our possible x values. The range is going to be a, b, and c, because those are our y values. So you notice that it could be numbers or it could be letters or anything. So that's the idea. And now if we were to make a mapping diagram of this information, what we would want to do is our 1 is going to match with our c, so we're going to draw an arrow from 1 to our c. Our 2 is going to match with our a, so an arrow from 2 to a. And our 3 is going to match up with our b, so an arrow from 3 to b. And that's what a mapping diagram is. So you put your domain or your x values on the far left generally, and your range on your far right. So these would be your x values, and these would be your y values. Or we could even graph these as points. So if we were to graph these as points, the point 1c, we're going to go over to 1 on the x-axis, and then up to c on our y-axis, and then put a point. And then it's just a point on a graph. And then we have 2a, and then 3b. So those would be the points if we actually graphed them. Obviously, generally, we have numbers on our y-axis as well, but this is just a basic example. So let's do some examples here where we just need to find the domain and range. So this is clearly a set of points, so I want to find the domain of this set of points. So the domain would be any x value. So here's an x value, here's an x, 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 and x. So we write it as a set, and then we separate everything by commas. And we generally write it from smallest to biggest. So 100, 120, 140, 160, and 180. And that is the set. Okay? And then our range is going to be all of our y values. So again, we're going to write it as a set. And we're going to make sure that we order them from smallest to biggest, and we only use every number once. So if it occurs twice, as you can see, 5 happens twice. The first two are both 5s. So we're only going to write it once. And then there's actually 2 6s as well, so we're only going to write it once, and 12. So our range is 5, 6, and 12. Alright, and this next example is actually a regular graph. It's just a graph of points on this graph, okay? So we need to find the domain. So that's all of the possible x's, and we need to find the range, which is all of the possible y's. Before we can do that, we want to actually find our set of points. It'll help us out. So my first point is -2, 2. My next point is -1, 1. And then I have the point 0, 0. And I have the point 1, -1. And the point 2, -2. And my last point there is 3, -3. Alright, so obviously we'd want to write these all in a row, but I kind of ran out of room. Alright, so now I should easily be able to find my domain and range. My domain is any x value. So -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. Alright, and my range, we do the same way. So that would be, and we're going from smallest to biggest. So my smallest is -3. So -3, and then the next is -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. So those are my possible y values, and that would be my domain and range of this function. Those are your notes on relations as functions. Go through the practice problems. Make sure you're able to find domains and ranges given different formats of relations, and then prepare for a quiz over this material.